started off with high conversations because I got my brother with me. Like I said at the top, I got a mentor with me. And I got many mentors, but I got one of my mentors right here with me to give information because I believe in sharing. The way I grew up, they always told me sharing was caring, but now I'm starting to understand and appreciate sharing my gifts and my resources. Because at Pilot Language, we highlight artists. I highlight artists that's on the come up. I highlight artists that I feel that need more shine. And I highlight artists that I feel that's important to me. Because even though artists like Nas and Jay-Z and Drake and Rick Ross, they're important to me as well, and I enjoy their music, but they don't need my help. But local talent and local jewels and around the way artists, why not, right? Today I got with me Mr. Shabazz. How you doing, great brother?
I'm well, thank you. I'm honored to be here.
We definitely honored to have you. How was your day? How's your day been going so far?
So far, so good. Very sunshiny.
And let me tell you why this brother's so special. Not only is he a father, he's a grandfather, he's a great grandfather. How many grandkids we got?
34 grandkids.
He got 34. So he got wisdom. You got a lot of jewels you've been instilling for a lot of years.
Yes, and I thank God for it.
He does teaching at the mosque in his town. He does a program with the Honeybee program. The Honeybee program is a program that takes young youth and they give them mentorship. And while they give them mentorship, they're producing one of my favorite medicines, honey. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of time with the young mind, the young mind is so fluid and it's so open, so we got to be conscious of what we giving in. So we got brothers like this brother right here in front of me, making sure they get the right jewels. But that's not the only thing you do. You an artist. You a poet. And that's what I was talking about earlier about highlighting artists that we do on my website, and make sure y'all tap into that. pilotlanguagemedia.com. We got a poet in the building. So I would like to know, because I'm a big fan of poetry. I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wanted to be in the music business, but I didn't really like the politics of it. And, the underhand, cutthroat, situation that lies in it. So, sometimes when I do my episodes and I'm speaking about certain people and I got a beat behind me, that's my way of rapping. That's my way of doing, what I always wanted to do. I'm just doing it in my fashion.
And you do an excellent job.
Thank you, brother. I try. So, I like to ask you, and, I want to share with the people, what inspires you to write poetry?
Hurt, pain. And it came about really through isolation in prison. Not in prison when I was locked down, on and off in my life. So I had time to, really throw things around in my mind. And I always loved words, because I do a history class, but it was really hurt to see the hurt in the human family, and it was brought out in me through isolation, because they used to keep me in we call it the hole in prison. We call it the hole, but in the dungeon a lot. They used to keep me there a lot.
Because you did, I like how you phrase that, because you did do some prison time. So how much prison time you did exactly?
On this last one?
On this last. Well, we could talk about in total.
Well, in total, it's over about 50 years. This last one is 30 years.
Over 50, last one 30.
Yes.
And then when you said that, your poetry comes from being locked down, but not so much in the prison system, and you talk about families, what exactly do you mean by that? Because I like how you worded that, because sometimes just because we went to prison don't mean that we the only one that felt that isolation and felt that loneliness and felt that, you know, being away from family, even though we right beside them. Mm-hmm. So what did you mean by that?
Well, what I mean, as far as the loneliness,
yes.
See, being brought up in the environment I was brought up in, you know, it's like you could be around a whole lot of people mm-hmm. and still be really by yourself. Mm-hmm. Because I was brought up to be hard. You understand? In the lifestyle that I lived, it's to be hard, to be cold, to push people away, to be standoffish. Mm-hmm. You know. But I always was one to like study people. You know, like to observe and study my surroundings and so on. But you know, most of my life, and even still to a degree now, I be by myself a lot.
Mm-hmm. I know. I did some of my best. I did some of my best problem solving and analyzing and thinking by myself. So I can agree with that. You know, even, you know, to your point of, you know, bringing up being locked up. I remember being locked up, and I remember going to the hole. And I remember being in the hole and being in segregation. And, of course, I miss visitation. Of course, I miss, you know, able to use that phone. But I remember that silent time, that still time when I could start writing, I could start putting things together, and I could just start formulating that comeback. So in those moments when I was forming that comeback, I was forming the perfect life, or the life that I wanted to live. In them isolation situations, is that how you choose your theme? Like, what brings your theme about when it comes down to writing and comes down to doing poetry?
I don't really know how to answer. It's just like it just comes to me. See, I believe in spiritual things. Mm-hmm. I really do. I believe the whole world is full of, you know, spiritual. I believe that God created us in three phases. The first phase is spiritual, then mental, and then physical. Most people in this day and time are stuck in the physical. The most powerful part of the human being is the spiritual part. The most neglected part of the human being in this day and time is the spiritual. So anyway, when I get isolated, when they used to isolate me, because they used to keep me out of general population. You know, in the prison system, they have a word called conform. You got to conform. They want you to conform. If you don't conform, they got a party for you. So they kept me medicated up, and we'll get into that later. They kept me medicated up in administrative segregation. You know, but they gave me pencils and papers, and pens, and all that stuff. Or pencils and paper. And I really, really like to write at night when it's really quiet. It just seems like something, you know, comes out of me. It's a saying in religion. It says you heard the saying, the quiet hour is just before the dawn. Mm-hmm. Understand? So mm-hmm. It's quiet, and the quietness, the stillness, the peacefulness brings out something in you. You know, out of in the soul of the human family, the human being. If we just take time out to tap into it,
you definitely gonna touch that soul. And it's crazy because I remember, like you said, I remember every time, because I went to Seg a lot. You know, I like to look at myself as somebody calm, cool, and relaxed. But I always found myself in Seg. It's solitary confinement. And I remember they used to take my books. Yes. They'll take my watch. They'll take that radio. That little cheap radio, they'll take that, and them broken headphones that I gotta buy every week because they keep breaking. But you know what they'll give me? They'll slide that paper, and they'll slide that pencil. Yeah. So it's like if you build and you have certain things instilled in you, and you can kind of figure it out, that might be the best time for you. But if you're not, it could be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, because you could you be in there and like you sometimes hardest person to live with, or to live with it yourself.
Yeah.
And it comes out in moments like that. You had brothers in there who used to, these are hardened criminals. I mean, hard on the street, you know. You hear them cry. You understand? You hear them scream.
Screaming in the middle of the night.
All kinds of stuff.
Screaming.
Man. Say, who is that? Oh, that's Red. You understand? That don't even fit Red, you know. But he's in there screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. But I know that had I not had something to release the energy or the anger that was in me, you know, I might, you know, because it's a mind thing. Mm-hmm. You know, how they work on your mind. How they really call it, quote unquote, correctional institution.
That's what they said.
Yeah. But it works on your mind. It really does. I always say you have to have a strong mind to do a prison time in Connecticut, because Connecticut time is mental. Yeah, other places in different other states, you might have to watch out for whether you're going to get stabbed or what have you. You don't got to really go through that in Connecticut, not so much. But it's a mind thing to do just day in and day out, slowly grinding at you. You understand? Yeah. I seen people lose their minds and go to whiting. You know?
Because then, you know, we running from distractions, and we running from a lot of things that we was hiding. And then when you go to these spaces, when you in this solitary confinement, and you get in this paper and you get this pencil. And brothers or sisters, they might just start writing because they're in a vulnerable state. And they just write and they just saying all types of things, hoping they get anything back. You know, I used to write to myself in solitary confinement, and I used to write to people that, you know, I was dealing with. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll get a card. You know, they'll send a card sometimes. The canteen, the way you could order things in solitary confinement, it was either a water. And that's when they felt good about themselves. More paper, more pens, or a card. So I remember I used to just write certain things and just be spilling my mind.
Yeah, yes.
But I also know, because I feel like I'm an artist, and I tell myself I'm an artist. I also know sometimes being an artist, you get in certain states when you're being vulnerable and you're just expressing yourself and you're moving in real time. Before you know it, you're like, oh, okay, I really did say all this. So it's like being what you've been through and, you know, knowing who you are. How do you balance being vulnerable and keeping your privacy in your poems?
Sometimes it's hard because I was never like a person to open up. I was never like a person to open up or to share my. Sometimes I didn't even know what I feel.
Yeah.
You know, but it was hard. As a matter of fact, I'm still going through that, as far as, you know, really getting in touch with my feelings. And I mean, because I've been through a lot from being young up to where I am now. And like I told you, I have traumatic brain injury from the accident I was in. But it's like new things, you know, new things. I have to keep telling myself that, you know, you can do this, you know, and take a shot at it, you know. And whereas before I would just withdraw. You know.
Why you think, I know you said, you know, it was hard for you to kind of be like that, like, you know, because you was real private. Why were you so private before?
Because I didn't really think anyone understood me, because of all, you know, because of all the bad things I did.
Yeah.
I really, really felt that in my life there was a time when God wouldn't forgive me for the things I did. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of bad. I hurt a lot of people, and it's like, you know, you can get to a point where you actually enjoy hurting people.
Yeah.
You understand?
It becomes the norm.
Yeah, the streets mold you like that, and you think that's normal. You know, so yeah, but and I used to think that no one really understand me, or the different things that I went through. So I'm in a meeting. But opening up and interacting with other humans, it was scary to me.
Yeah, especially coming
Seriously.
from the streets.
Yeah, it was scary to me. 'Cause I told you, I used drugs when I was very young. You understand? And been in and out of drug programs, and different doctors used to tell me that I wasn't in touch with my feelings. You know, I'm like, what is a feeling?
Because to your point, I remember growing up, right? And I remember having my innocence for a second. You know, I remember growing up, having my innocence for a second, playing with toys and wanting to be young and want to run around and play football. And then I remember going outside. Then I remember being with older people because I was always bigger for my size. And they asking me why I'm playing with toys and not getting to the money. Then I remember kind of like trying to figure out, well, why I'm not getting to the money? Why I got to keep asking my mama for money when I'm seeing all my other homeboys that's older than me getting to the money? And then I remember my childhood became a memory. And now I'm this young man who's really not a man, but I'm this big for my age and I'm trying to navigate.
Yes.
So it was like, how was your childhood? Like, how was Mr. Shabazz's life coming up?
It was, I see now that it was chaotic and crazy and insane. That's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I shot heroin and cocaine when I was 11 years old. I had three brothers I have one sister and six brothers, but three of them was in the gangs in North Philadelphia. I'm from North Philadelphia.
Shout out to North Philly. Shout out to Germantown.
Yeah. So I wanted to follow them, be like them. You see, I wanted to be like them. And all of them was using drugs. Everybody in the neighborhood was using drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it was normal to me. And so I shot heroin and cocaine when I was 11 years old. I was strung out when I was 12 years old. I was a father when I was 15 years old. My wife, she wasn't my wife then. She was pregnant when she was 12 years old. And she had the baby, my oldest son, she had the baby when she was 13 years old. So she was I was 13, she was 13, I was 15 years old. And we're parents already. And I remember different doctors used to tell me I never had a childhood. Because you spoke about, playing with toys. I don't remember none of that.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's like, I wanted to be like my brothers or other people in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a funny thing because you don't know nobody really outside your family by their real names.
No.
You got all these nicknames: Red, Black. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot 'em up.
Killer, Mo. All this. Oh, yes, yeah.
I know about 5 Mo's.
See,
Real life.
Yeah. But I was young and I wanted to be to impress the older. You understand? And I was, over a period of time, I was worse than them. I became more colder than them. We was in this crew. I was a stick-up kid. They used to call me SS, Shotgun Shabazz. I used to carry a sawed-off shotgun, 12-gauge pump.
Oof.
So I was called SS, Shotgun Shabazz. So I used to be in this crew of three.
Oh, hold on.
What? What?
Because my great brother is a giant, but he he's not the tallest of them. I mean, the shotgun got some height.
That's why I was sawed off.
That's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah. So I had to cut it off. Yeah. But so it's like I end up being the worst of all of them. So we had a stick-up crew, and then you have the big drug dealers, the big willies and all that. When they wanted anything done, if they wanted another block to clear the block, They would simply come to me, and then I would, okay, like $1,000, a young kid, $1,000, that's a lot of money. $2,000, you understand? And you split it up between your crew. Now, all what you do is go there and spray it. They mean spray the block. You understand? Because we coming in a couple of weeks to put our package there. You know what I'm saying? So you go there, and I'm like, if anybody got hit, they got hit. You know, that's what and I really didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many things happen in my life, that it's like, so as I came out of that, the fog cleared over a period of years, of course, and I'm like, boy, I really was insane. The different things I used to do, I was insane, and the only one that could reach me or talk to me was my wife,
mm-hmm.
and she was taken away from me in the accident. So I grew up very confused, but very cold.
There's a couple of things I want to talk about that too, because you said a lot. But that doctor, I believe in doctors. I believe in medicine. I believe in people, getting physicals, people doing a regular base where they're checking in with a doctor. But it's always troubling to me when a doctor can look at somebody like yourself, can look at me, or anybody that came from the urban city and say, you was robbed of your childhood, and you was this, and you was that, and they can point that finger. But they don't understand, and I don't think they really understand, and I don't think some that really live that inner city experience. You got to think about it. In the city, what you got, right? You got old abandoned buildings, mm-hmm. and you got old buildings that people living in. I took a class that, evolve and led. I took a class that, that tells you the structure of houses and how they build. If a house was built before 1932, it has lead in it. You look at most inner cities, Flint, Michigan,
yes.
Durham, North Carolina, Baltimore, Maryland, Newark, New Jersey. These houses, all these places I just named, was infested with lead. Now, what do lead do? Lead affect the way the child would think, because where's lead at? It's on the floors, it's in the walls. And if you got a baby that's in the house, what the baby's doing? The baby's crawling. And what do babies do every time, regardless of where they from? They picking everything up and eating it. So what do lead do? Lead breaks down the process of a human brain. Now we have a child human brain being broke down and mentally being set back. And then when they go outside, what do they see? They see the older heads. They're seeing figures that they might want to look up to, or figures they might want to connect with, because that's an older influence of them, and they're doing all the wrong things. So for a doctor or somebody like that to label somebody, you was robbed of this or you was robbed of that, you should be apologizing. You should be apologizing that the system that we had set this child or this person for that. Because nothing's new under the sun. Nothing that happened to you happened to me that happened before. So we having a steady pattern of all these things going on. And then what we'll say? We're pointing the finger at the victim, or we're pointing the finger at the person that's seeking help, when we really should point the finger at the companies, ourselves, and the counterparts that benefited off that. You go in the inner city right now, you're going to see a speed bump on every inch of that strip. And these speed bumps is going to be 3 to 5 feet off the ground. Or inches, let me stop. 3 to 5 inches off the ground. On every inch in the corner, potholes that your car can drown in. There's no resources in that. There's no resources in the inner city unless you have nonprofits, unless you have a governor that really gives a fuck. Other than that, that city is left. That inner city is left to drown. And then what we have with that, we have babies making babies. Yeah. And I want to highlight your queen, because you said that was the only one that could keep you off balance. Do you think that was like one of the major influence, not only in your life, but in your poetry?
Yes. That's what one of my poems is based on. It's on a Mother's Day. It's called Every Day is Mother's Day. But yeah, she was a real strong person. She was from a religious family. She was a Christian before she became a Muslim. She was a saved and sanctified, full of the Holy Ghost. She was from Virginia.
Okay.
She was from Virginia, and yeah, she was very religious. And her people couldn't understand for the life of them, because her family was religious also. Couldn't understand for the life of them how she ended up with me. You know what I'm saying? But the heart wants what the heart wants. The heart wants what the heart wants.
And she was involved in the accident.
She was killed in an accident. Her and my daughter. We knew it was going to be a girl. She was 4.5 months pregnant when she was killed in the accident. So it killed her and the daughter and our daughter. Yeah.
How did that happen? If you don't mind sharing.
No, I don't mind. There was a time when I couldn't open up and share with anyone, but I'm in a comfortable place now, so I can share. So anyway, my oldest son, like I said, I have a son that's only 15 years younger than me. When people look at him, they think I'm the son and he's the father. He gets mad about that. So. But anyway, I don't care though. I know how to fight.
Said my hands work.
Yeah, exactly. So this particular day, like before the accident, I went to school for accounting, sociology, and computers. Yeah. And all that's knocked out of my head because of the accident.
Oh wow.
But what stayed was that you always see me with a book.
Yes.
I'm always reading, so I could read and comprehend what I read. That wasn't knocked out of me. So anyway, I had 3 jobs. I helped put together a detox center in New Haven called South Central Rehabilitation Center. I helped put that together from the ground. It's on Cedar Street in New Haven.
Okay.
So, and I worked at Project Moore, and I worked at Danbury Federal Prison. I was a teacher at Danbury Federal Prison. So anyway, I came home that day, and my wife said to me, she said, we got to go and pick our oldest son up, Malik, and take him to his new job in Milford. And I said to her, her name's Chandra. I call her Shiny though. I said, Shiny, I told you I was coming home and take a nap. I need to go to sleep. Right? So she said, okay. She said, just be with me. I'll drive. That she would drive. So you know how women are. They bat their eyes. They end up convincing you. So I said, okay, all right. I said, all right. So she was driving. And we went to my son's house to pick him up because we was going to drop him off in Milford to his new job that he had as a security job. We worked from in the night to in the morning time. So when we got to my son's house to pick him up, she says to me, now keep in mind she was the driver. She says, Shabazz, I don't feel well, I don't feel well. Could you drive? And I said to her, I said, Shani, I told you I'll go with you, but I'm not going to drive because I had to sit back. You know what I'm saying? I'm resting. So she said, again, she said, I don't feel well, and I'm like, okay, all right. So I gave in.
They get me every time.
Of course. So now I went from the passenger to the driver's side.
Right.
Right? And then my son came, got in. So it's me, her, and my son. He's in the back. So we driving, we get on the Merritt Parkway. You ever been on the Merritt Parkway?
It's long.
At night.
Dark.
It's dark. Very good. So these 3 lawyers, we found out later through investigators where that happened.
Yeah.
These 3 lawyers was coming back from celebrating this big case they won. They won this big case because they got 3 law firms, one in Connecticut, some in Connecticut, some in New York, and some in Pennsylvania. So they was coming back from celebrating this big case they won, and they was on the Merritt Parkway sniffing cocaine and drinking nips and drinking alcohol. Ooh. And playing chicken. You know what chicken is?
Explain what chicken is.
Chicken is when you have 2 cars. They had a Jag and an Acura, and they was high, zooming in and out. You understand? Going 100-something miles an hour, zooming in and out. At night on the Merritt Parkway, high, dark. And they ran into the back of our van, pushed us off the road, down into a tree, and the motor came in and crushed and killed my wife, killed her and the daughter. And they never went to jail for it, for killing 2 people. They never went to jail for it. For damaging a father, my head, because I was a driver, my head went through a Dodge Caravan. I have
You went out
brain.
the window?
I have traumatic brain in me. People look at me from the outside, but if they sit down and stay around me for about a week, maybe they wouldn't want to be around me.
They didn't get charged because they represented themselves?
They didn't get charged because a deal was made. What happened was they put me up in this hospital in New Hampshire for almost a year and something, recuperating. I mean, if you had seen me the year I stuttered, I couldn't say your name. You tell me something, I have long range and short range memory problem. You tell me something, by the time we got up and walked out there, I would forget it, all of it. It was that bad, and so they was trying to bring my memory back. But my memory, they just said you're going to have long range and short range memory problems bad for the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
And so while I'm away, they made my son power of attorney, my oldest son. He don't know nothing about law.
Yeah.
You understand? So they used my oldest son to make these deals with them. And they end up with, first of all, they had one of the persons who was in the car. He wasn't the one who caused the accident. I know who was there, who the one who was driving in the car that caused the accident. You understand? Because I was still conscious. Although I was messed up I was still conscious because the person came down. He came down out of his car. He came down out of his car and he came down and he looked in the car and he seen the damage that was done. He said, "Oh my God, what have I done?" That's how I know. You understand? So 2 of them, 2 people, 2 of the lawyers left the scene of the crime. The state troopers helped them leave. They left.
When all the police got there, they took
They
off
left.
and one stayed.
And one stayed, and that was they flunky. Listen, he took the weight for it, but he wasn't the one who called. I know he had a lot of, guilt over years about that. So anyway, they left him there. But anyway, so over a period of time, he ended up getting 1 year's probation and 6 months community service. 1 year's probation and 6 months community service for killing 2 people. And know where his community service was at?
Where?
His law firm.
That's so Kurt.
Yeah, so yes.
I wanna highlight your queen real quick. Because rest in peace to her. Rest in peace to your daughter. Let them, continue to be golden like they are today. I want to speak out what you said. She was first Christian, and then she became Muslim. Because it's not funny, but the interesting thing about that, in the way about, Islam, a Muslim man can marry a non-believer.
Yes.
But the simple fact that she converted to Islam, how was that process? Because, if you think about it today, and you think about the world moving, and it's no disrespect to any religion, but it's so much things on media, so much. The way that a older Muslim moved today is not the way that a younger Muslim moved today. Because we're introduced to a lot of things, technology, we're around a lot of people. So we'll get a pass by marrying a non-believer. But the simple fact that she made that commitment to join a legacy or join a faith that's outside of her norm, because you said Holy Ghost.
She was saved and sanctified.
In Islam, we talking about praying 5 times a day. It's only one, but we respect all the prophets.
Right.
How was that process?
Well, I'm gonna tell you a story. Saved and sanctified. So people used to say that in our house, it's like this angel and this devil. I was the devil, she was the angel. So, I mean, I used to stick up here, come home with this bag full of money, and she'd say, "Oh no. My God, my Lord!" She'd go into this thing, right? And I'm still high, I'm still shooting. But she was so patient with me, right? So, I remember one time, before I get into this thing, I remember one time I was in the bed, I was sleeping, nodding out, and then when I nodded out, I came out of it. She had this oil, just rubbing on it. You understand? I said, "Shani," I said, "What are you doing? I don't believe in that." She said, "You got the devil in you." She said, "I'm gonna get the devil." She's gonna rub the holy oil on me. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, the way she came into Islam was to watch me, because this particular time, when I came out of prison, this was in the early 80s. I came out of prison. I came out of prison, and I stayed clean for 23 years before the accident.
23 years.
Almost 23 years.
That's 2 decades and some change.
Almost 23 years. I told you, I went to school for college. I was teaching. I was teaching at the masjid. I was teaching at Danbury Federal Prison. I was employed at a detox center that I helped put together. All this stuff. So she's what, and because she used to take. I got 6 sons, 34 grandkids, and 7 great grandchildren.
34 grandkids.
Yeah. So anyway, so listen. So she used to take my sons to church.
Yeah.
And then sometimes go to the masjid, right? And the sisters at the masjid was always working on her, you know what I'm saying? She used to laugh about her, but they loved her to death, you know what I'm saying? So one day she comes to me and she says, you know, it's not fair to our sons that they be pulled in 2 different directions. And I'm like, you know, what is she getting at? In my mind, I'm like, she just saying she's going to take them to the church, right? I'm thinking that she just saying that they're not going to go to the masjid no more. They just going to go to the church. She didn't say it. She looked at me. She said, I'm ready to become a Muslim.
That's nice.
Yeah, it
That's
just,
nice.
you know, and when her family found out about it, it just like, ooh. But they was always afraid of me. So, you know.
Because the reason I say that's nice because we have literature that says a Muslim man can marry a non-believer because you're the leader of the household and you have influence. So the fact that you have influence, maybe over time, she might convert into your lifestyle. But that's a lot to ask for a person who never been introduced to that.
See, but she did it because she seen me come in and out of prison before, right? She always stayed with me. And I'm all like, you know, I ain't gonna go back there this time. About 6 months later, I'm back in jail because I don't put my pistol in somebody's mouth.
What's the word? I changed.
Yes.
I learned this time.
Of course.
You know, I miss you and the kids so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And she used to gobble it up. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, she believed that, you know, everyone could be saved. You know what I'm saying? So I used to play on that. I did. So, but this particular time, she watched me. I didn't go back to prison. You understand? And, like, she was like over a period of time. And, like, she said, yeah, he really, really serious this time. And I was. And then, like I said, she was going back and forth to the masjid too. And then she just said, no, I want to be a Muslim. You know, I see, I understand now. Well, I know it wasn't nobody but Allah that did it. But
yeah, definitely.
But she was a Muslim when she passed. And they gave her a Muslim burial.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, so, alhamdulillah. But she was the one who I could sit down and, you know, cry with, you know, tell anything to, and, you know, and so on. And it was it was and is a great loss because she was a beautiful soul. She got along with everybody.
And how great is that, right? Because, you know, everybody, regardless of what your background is, everybody put on a facade. Everybody put on a mask.
Right.
Everybody put up a situation where they're doing this for that, and you might see their real side in a split second, and you might not. But for you to sit down and break down and cry and present, you know, the real Shabazz with no holds barred.
No holds barred.
And for somebody to not only receive that, but still appreciate you, that's golden. That's golden. Can I hear the poem that you had dedicated to her?
Yes, of course you can.
Cause you know, hold on real quick. Cause I'm talking to North Philly. I'm talking to Germantown. I'm talking to one of the Philly finest. I'm talking to a legend. So when I'm talking about poetry and I'm talking about foundations, I'm talking about speaking that ism. We about to hear that. So, you know, let me get ready to, you know, snap my little fingers. Let me get ready to apply. But go ahead, brother. I ain't gonna stop. I want to hear this. I know this about to be good. That boy is That boy good.
All right. While I was in prison this time, I wrote 3 books of poetry.
Okay.
It's 1,000 or something. So, all of my poems are short and to the point. They're short poems, and the name of the books is PPP.
What that mean?
Poems from a Prison Poet. Ain't that catchy?
Pushing Pete.
PPP. Poems from a Prison Poet. All right, so this one is called Every Day is Mother's Day.
Okay.
Every day is Mother's Day because there's someone coming into the world, boy or girl, male or female, and they're coming by way of a mother. They ain't come up with no way yet where a baby could come from a man. And God willing, it'll never happen. So all human beings come by way of a mother.
Yes.
So every day is Mother's Day.
Yes, sir.
While we sitting right here, now, someone is coming into existence. Someone is being born.
Yes.
Coming out the womb. Okay, it says, every day is Mother's Day. Mother, mother, how I miss you so. Your words of wisdom and your face that glow. And with your loving hands, you have helped me to become a man. How could I possibly pay you back for all that you have done? Yet I kiss you each morning with the rising of the sun.
There go those snaps. There go those snaps. So, like, I'm thinking now, right? You was a father. You're a Muslim. What do you went to school for again?
Accounting, sociology, and computers.
You had nonprofits and you done started. We'll get into it later, but you done freed the whole county jail. You done.
Yeah.
I know about you.
They wanted to hang me.
So it's like you did a lot, brother. So you have a lot.
Praise be to God.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. It's blessings
They
on top of
wanted to
blessings.
hang me.
So it's like you have a lot that you done brought to the table. Like, what would you say be one of your greatest influence when you get that pen to that paper and you writing your poems? Because you have a large resume, sir.
Well, I want to reach, especially the youth, because I mentor because it's like I know who my mentors were.
Yeah,
I mean, like, if I had positive mentors, then there's a possibility that I wouldn't have gone through some of the things that I went through.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, but my poetry is, I really, really, really want to reach the youth for them to see and understand that, you know, you don't have to continue to do this. See, because there was a time when I really, really felt that I couldn't change. You couldn't tell me I could change.
Why is that?
I really felt the world was, the way I seen the world, the way I seen the world was really it. That's it. That's how, I really, really felt that way. And it was no other colors to it. It was just that color. There was no other colors to it. And I was in this world. And like my place in this world was to be a stick-up kid, to rob people. You understand? And to sell drugs and to use drugs. And I really, really, I accepted that. And I'm saying, this is what I'm going to be the rest of my life. And then there's no, so I need, I'm an extremist, not a bad extremist. I'm an extremist when it comes to.
Not a bad one, like you said.
I'm an extremist when it comes to, if I get involved with something, I don't go halfway. I go all the way. That's why I thank God for Emerge. You understand? Because, see, they always use that word pause. You understand? That you can pause. It's a place where I could pause. You understand? I don't have to be an extremist because I know if I ever go back to the way I was, it won't be no halfway measures. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no halfway with me. I mean, when the cake is put on the table, I mean the whole cake.
Whole thing.
The whole thing.
And the pause tool is a great tool because a lot of times, this with anybody in life, we move off emotions.
Yes.
And we quit to react. And then
me.
we quit to cry and say, I didn't mean it like that. But now we in so deep, when we just could have paused, we just could have stopped, we just could have navigated to the point where, let me push myself out of this and then come back when I got a better understanding. So, definitely, like you said, definitely that company, them people, that organization, they're doing good things.
Yeah, and I thank God for them. Because, see, being young, when I was young, I ain't thinking, what you just got finished saying, none of that came in my mind. It's just like, when something, I want to do this, let's go do this. No such thing as, is it another way to do this? Maybe we should, no, let's go do this, period.
And it's crazy, right? Because I hearing you say that, and I believe it, because I feel the energy, and I know how the inner city can be a struggle in a tug of war between what makes sense and what my mama told me and what's going on and how can I get ahead. So I understand that part. But it's just like, you think about it. You was a stick-up kid. You from North Philly. North Philly's nothing to sleep on. Philly, period. It's nothing to sleep on, nothing to play with. You had a kid at 15, and you was a child. You doing all these drugs. You went to school, and you did all these agrees and accomplishments. You got a car accident. And now we're looking at the man today that you're still giving back. How has your style and the way that you write and really, give out your message evolved? Because you had a lot of levels. You had a lot of roller coasters that you went through in your life.
And brother, that's what I try to do. I try to put them in my poetry. That's why I said my poetry is about crying, bad times and happy times too, but it all comes out in my poems, in my poetry, because there was some real dark times in my life when I was young. I told you about this, right? How I got this.
Well, I think you did, but we on the audio, so we could talk about it. He's showing me a stomach wound.
Well, it ain't a stomach wound. It's a. They put me under a car and drove me up a block. My whole right side is burnt. They call it roll burns.
Let's talk about that story.
And then they shot me.
How did this happen, sir?
Well, it happened.
That
happened because what?
That bruise is very detailed.
It is, and that's just the stomach. My whole right side is like this. But so, now, keep in mind, I said to you, I was a stick-up kid.
Yes.
And I used to love sticking people up.
Mm-hmm.
It became a very, very, it was a passion of mine, for real. And that's sick. And that's what I was. I was sick. So anyway, we had robbed this supermarket. And the money only for me, because my partner, he was from Ohio, young boy from Ohio. You think I was cold. He was just off the hook. So about 6 months later, all of my money was gone. Because like I said, the different things I was involved in was doing. So we used to watch these people come in and out of this house. Cause we used to sit on the stoop. Remember you sit on the stoop?
I remember the stoop.
Okay, all right. So we sitting on the stoop. We see these people coming in and out of this house. And I'm like, wow, man. I said, God, there must be a lot of money in that house, man. We thought it was a drug house, just a drug house, right? And it was fronted. It was some black people running it, right? But we found out later after it all happened that it was mob tied. So anyway, but the word was on the street that nobody messed with this particular house.
Yeah.
You understand? And everybody in your block know what you do.
Yeah.
You understand? They knew I was a stick-up kid. My partner was a stick-up kid. So the word got back to us not to touch this house. We didn't know who really, you understand, was the heads of the house, where the money was really going. So, like I said, we did a stick-up at the supermarket, and the money was gone. So I'm watching these people sitting on the stoop. I'm a little high, and I'm watching these people come in and out of this house, right? So I said to my boy, we called my boy Mister. He was dark skinned.
Was he Jamaican?
No, he had dreads though. But he
Jamaicans
told
go by
everybody to call him Mister. They said he ain't on the plantation no more. So, you know what I'm saying? So he was a Mister. Everyone called him Mister. So I'm watching these people come in and out of this house. So I'm saying, I said, you see that? He said, yeah. I said, you know, there's no rules in the game. In the street, there's no rules. All this, you know what I'm saying, this one could be hit, but this one can't be hit. I said, man, go home and get your gun. So he went home and got his gun. I went there, got by. We ran there and laid everybody down. We got $80,000 out of this house. Now, think of this. Now, I'm like 16 years old, little kid, you know what I'm saying? $80,000 cash.
Oh, no.
You understand? From this house. So, I had a grandmother that was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and another one was in Stamford, Connecticut. And when I was younger, my mother and father used to send us out of Philadelphia to get out of the gangs to go stay with one of our grandmothers. I used to always love to go to the one in Bridgeport, the grandmother in Bridgeport, because she was into the numbers and all that. She was a street lady. The one in Stamford.
She get that money.
Yeah, she get that money. The one in Stamford was real religious. I didn't want to go there. My mother's mother. I didn't want to go there. So we terrorized Bridgeport back then. I stayed in Father Panic Village for a while. So I left after the stick. I left and went to Bridgeport. It was with my grandma. She said, "Well, what you done did now? Give me some money so I can play my numbers." So, right?
Yeah.
So my boy went back to Ohio, but before he left, he said, "Now listen to me." He said, "Listen." He said, "Don't go back to Philadelphia without me. You understand? Just wait. Don't go back without me." Now at this time, she young, you had this. It was this little girl, a girl that I was messing with in Philadelphia. You understand? So I used to call her back and forth while I'm in Bridgeport. She said, "Where you at?" Blah blah blah. All this, right? So like a week or two went by. Now I want to see her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or she's convincing me that it'd be best for her to come out, for me to come back and see her, right? So my grandmother says to me, she said, you know what Mister said, don't go down back to Philadelphia without him. She said, where you going? I said, who told you I was going to Philadelphia? She said, I know where you're going. You're going because that girl's calling you. All this, right? So I goes back to Philadelphia. You know what a shooting gallery is?
Shooting gallery?
A shooting gallery. I'm in the shooting gallery. Shooting gallery where they shoot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, so
the trap house.
Trap house, we call it shooting. Yeah, we call it shooting gallery.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? We shoot drugs, we shoot dope. Down they got it where they crack houses, they smoke there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just got finished getting high, and I come out and I step, and I'll never forget. It was in the wintertime. You know them puffy coats?
Mm-hmm.
I had one of them puffy coats. In a way, that's what saved me. God saved me, but through the puffy coat. So I came out of the shooting gallery. I'm all high up, and I stepped in the street to cross the street, and this car hit me. Pow! Knocked me down. And they got out, and they put me under the car, and they dragged me on my stomach up a block, right? And there was this I'll never forget, it was this old lady and her two sons on the porch. Now I'm screaming, my head, something in my mind just kept telling me, don't put your head down. Because the doctor said if I put my head down, it would have snapped my neck. Because I'm riding, and I'm like, and it's tearing my skin up. But it's getting the puffy coat first. Just imagine if it was summer. This was winter. Just imagine if it was summer. It would have tore all my bones.
All the way up.
All the way. So I said, the puffy coat, that for puffy. So anyway, the lady and her sons are screaming, "Hey, you got a little boy in the car, you got a little boy." So they stopped the car, put it in park. And they looked at me and they said, "Hey, this nigga's still alive, this nigga's still alive." And then they shot me, pow. The old lady said, "They'll kill this little boy." And then they left, right? My foot was stuck under the car. Now they don't drag me up a block, shot me, and my foot is stuck. So the old lady, two sons came and lifted the car and pulled me out. It was blood just shooting
everywhere.
I was shooting out of the car. She almost fainted. But that's how I got that. Yeah, but after it was all over, I went to the hospital and I stayed in the hospital. Oh man, about 8 months, recuperated, all this stuff, man. When my boy found out,
Mister?
Yes. He wanted to do something to all of them. I had to stop him.
And this was happening in Philly.
In Philly, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like I said, you know, my mindset, my thinking, that you involved in the game, that anything is liable to happen to you.
Anything.
Because I know what I did. I know some of the things I did. So, but yeah, that's how I got that.
You reaping what you sow. In so many ways. In so many ways. When do you think, I don't know, I feel like your poetry didn't start in prison. I feel like you might have been writing poetry, or you might have been influenced by poetry way before you seen the prison cell.
That's possible.
Cause the thing about brotherly love and the thing about Philly is real big in the poetry and the music game.
Mm-hmm.
You think
and
of
dressing.
Yes. Well, Philly, I'm glad you said that, because Philly, DC, and Baltimore is real big on that, what you just said, dressing, the music game, poetry, brotherly love, this real empowerment of self. And you think about empowerment of self, what were we doing? We was on that soapbox, we was on the corner, we were just Philly got like 100 rappers on one strip. So like music and poetry was just heavily embedded in us. If you didn't like it or not, eventually you'll understand it. Mm-hmm. So was there any piece of work while you was growing up that influenced you to even step into poetry, or step into, you know, putting your mind into that? Because think about me, and I'll just speak on me. You ain't got to agree or nothing. I like melody. I like beats. I like the flow of words too. And I feel like it's a gift and it's an art when you can do that. Mm-hmm. Everybody can't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why when I do my solo thing, I got to put a beat behind me, because I feel like I'm still doing what I always wanted to do. I'm just doing it, you know, in a little remix way. Mm-hmm. So was there anybody that you can, you know, think about that influenced you to start writing? Or is there any piece of work that you done seen or heard that like, yo, I can do that too, as far as the poetry?
Well, I told you, I always loved to read. Maya Angelou. I just always loved to read. I was bad, but I always loved to read.
Do you think, because when you think about that, right, when you say Maya Angelou,
Langston Hughes,
the Harlem Renaissance,
all that.
We could think about Harlem and Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou. We could think about Toni Morrison. Yes. We could think about all these poets in the past that was doing this. Do you think that same effect is going on today? Because, you know, the thing about Maya Angelou, when she had I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing.
I got that book.
Yeah. My first time I always heard of that book, but the first time I really read that book when I was in county jail. I read that book and I really enjoyed it. And the funny thing about that book, it was banned in a lot of schools because she talked about her getting
right. I remember. Yeah.
She talked about her getting, you know, take advantage of, and how she went on silent for so many years. Right. So schools are using that as an excuse to not even push the book. A lot of school libraries are banning that. And now it got overturned. Now you see it more in school libraries and whatnot. But, you know, rest in peace, Maya Angelou gone. Toni Morrison, she's gone. Hughes, he's gone. So, you know, you think about poetry today, you think about that type of art form. You can say spoken words, because I kind of see that on social media. And, you know, you kind of see that in certain people. I try to look at within myself. But do you think that same influence of the Maya Angelou's and the Hughes and the Toni Morrisons, do you think that still go on today?
Yes, I do. Mm. It's just done in a different phase. I mean, it's done in a different form. Mm-hmm. But it's like all of us are affected by it, you understand, those that came before us. Yeah. And like, I even like listening to some of Tupac's.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it have to do with dark days. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Pain, and darkness, and light, and so on.
And you think about Tupac. Tupac had, while he was still on the rise, he had a book full of poetry. Mm-hmm. Dedicated to his mother, dedicated to himself, his life, and Jada Pinkett.
Right.
But we think about 2024. We think about 2020, 2020. We think about all these things. I feel like it might be a decline. So, when we have artists like you and artists similar to you, I feel like it needs to be highlighted. What was your first poem that you wrote and you were just like, you know what? I can do something with this.
To be honest with you, brother, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't. I do know this, that I was in prison and I was in administrative segregation, or the hold, or seg, or
the boot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have it on you right now?
No, I have something similar to it.
Oh, let's hear it.
Like I said, there are some of my poems that deal with darkness,
let's hear it.
or oppression, and so on. So this one is called Day-to-Day Nightmare, because my life was like a nightmare, and it was ongoing, day in and day out. The constant grind, the same thing. It's like when I woke up and I ain't had no drugs and I ain't had no money, somebody was going to get gotten. And so it's darkness, you know what I'm saying? Because you really don't care if you're going to hurt someone to do this, to get this, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to get hurt. You don't know. Mm-hmm. So it says, the name of this one is Day-to-Day Nightmare. You are only living to die fast. Close your eyes and another day have passed. Hoping that you could stay in a state of sleep to avoid this wicked world where the children always weep. Yet you do wake up to relive it all again. This day-to-day nightmare. When will it ever end?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I always write the date that I wrote it and where I was at. See, I was in Cheshire, but I was I call it the dungeon. The whole prison system is a dungeon. I was in the dungeon.
What motivated you to write that in 1999?
It was dark time. I was going through dark times.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through dark times, and I think one of my brothers had died, because I had 3 brothers that died while I was doing this time. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was incarcerated on this particular bed for almost 30 years. Mm-hmm. Well, we might say 30 years. And 3 of my brothers passed away, died, and they wouldn't let me go to none of them funeral. They said I was a flight risk, and they was right.
That boy would have been good and gone.
So
in the wind.
So they didn't let me go. One of my brothers lived in Atlanta, Georgia, my oldest brother. And he was in Vietnam. Jay, we call him Jay. His name was Johnny, we call him Jay. Like I said, he was in the gangs in North Philadelphia, some of the big gangs, the Diamond Street Gang, Oxford Street Gang, the different gangs in North Philadelphia. I could never figure out why they call Philly the city of brotherly love. All the killings and stuff that go on, but they call it the city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
So anyway, he died from Agent Orange. Cancer ate him up inside, and he wasn't even 60 years old. But they didn't,
I said,
Yeah, they wouldn't let me go to his funeral. And I had 2 other brothers that passed away too while I was in prison. They didn't let me go to their funerals neither. This captain he hated my guts with a passion. Usually when somebody in your family died, and when you were incarcerated in prison, who do they send to tell you that your loved one passed away?
They usually send a warning.
Or who else? If not the warden, who? a preacher. They send a priest.
Yeah,
They send it, right?
Yeah,
And he come. This captain came. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting on my bunk. You know what I'm saying? He look at me. I look at him. He said, "I got some bad news for you." I'm like, "What? Y'all took some more of my visits from me now? I gotta get a visit." He said, "No, your brother died." And he walked away. He said, "You want a phone call? Let me know." Just like that. I'm like, "Well, which one of them died?" He said, this captain was wicked.
What did he say? The what?
I said, "So which one was it? Which one of them died?" He said, "Know what he said? Any one of them."
Oh, God. That whole process is unruly because even when you do leave, if you're locked up, I know how it was down south. If you locked up and you leave to go to a funeral,
Yes.
not only are you handcuffed at the funeral in front of all your family to your wrist to your ankles, you got 2 police guards.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they got some things on them.
Yes, they do.
And if you try to shimmy or hop and walk away, they're going to shoot you right in front of your family. I remember, let her name still, remain golden. I remember when my grandma passed when I was locked up. I was in SEG. And, my family wrote me and told me, I couldn't see her anyway, but my family was like, "Yo, don't even come because we already know how they're going to have you set up." I couldn't come anyway because I was in SEG and they didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But they were just like, "Yo, don't even come anyway because we know you're going to be chained from your wrist to your ankles and we already know who else coming with you." Because, we didn't have family members when we was younger come to the funeral when they was locked up. And you know how much trauma and how many questions and how many stories going to come now because you probably done told your little one that she was in school, but now you got 2 police officers with the high security with some big things on them ready to blow your whole head off.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, the way they go about it and the way they tell us is no type of remorse. There's no type of sorry for your loss that you want to talk to the preacher, that you want to talk to, counseling. It's just like, "Yo, this what happened. I'm just letting you know because by law I got to let you know." Before you sue me and I lose my job, I got to let you know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, without a smile or anything. Oh.
So how long would you say you've been writing poems?
Oh, wow. You keep forgetting I got traumatic brain.
But you sharp though.
I don't know. For years, I don't know. About what? It got to be at least 50 years. At least, because this is when it started on this particular bed. I used to write stuff when I was in prison before in some of the lockdowns. I was before this particular bed. This is the longest ever been in prison. This one.
What advice would you give the young poets or young people who want to really step into that fashion?
Believe in yourself. Don't let this world tell you what you can't do or what you can't become. Seriously. That's where I was stuck at. They told me I will never change. Yeah. And I believed that. But I found out that I can go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. I can change. Yeah, it's a crime if you tell a child that this is what you're gonna be the rest of your life.
It is. So, it's not only a crime; it's harmful.
Very.
Everybody deserves a chance to grow, and everybody deserves a chance to change. We all make mistakes. Some is bigger than others. Some is highlighted more than others. But just telling somebody it'll never change, that's one of the. To me, that's one of the most devastating things you can do, not only to that person, but for the world. Because these kids and these young ones are the next future leaders.
Right. Yes.
So what are we doing to equip them? Because I know you equipping. You're not only equipping young people, but you're equipping people your age and older. And I feel like, a lot of time with your poems and your classes and your speeches, you're doing activism. Why is that so important for you to do not only in your poems, but this in your day-to-day life?
It's funny you say activist because before this murder, this time I was an activist. I was a vice president of this group called BGB, Brothers Getting Busy.
Brothers Getting Busy.
Yes, and I was an activist in that. But my whole thing with being an activist was to we have to be made aware of really, really, really the times that we're living in. You understand? The language of the times that we're living in, the things that have been done to us in this day and time. You understand? And how it's really, really, really affecting the youth. You understand? So, yeah, and that's what I give my time to. That's what I give my life to now, because you know, we need more of it. You know, people who are, because there's people who sacrifice for us to be where we are today. You know, and we have to make a sacrifice also.
Yeah, we got to keep that ball moving.
I really, really believe that. Yes.
I want to talk about a part that I feel like you did your activism when you freed the whole county jail.
It wasn't the whole county jail, but it
your
was,
whole block.
Yeah, it was a whole.
You freed your whole block, and the thing about county jail, in which I think is interesting, a lot of time a county jail, it's set to have you sit in county jail.
That's
a lot of time when people get locked up, they get no bond, or they get $1 million bond,
right?
Or they get a bond, or they get a hearing for a bond hearing. They get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back until they take a plea. Right. So for you to come in there and kind of uproot, you know, the structure and the guideline and the plan of what we doing, because even though we're people, we're just dollar signs.
We're walking money.
We walking money.
Yeah.
And you know, every time we put somebody in these cells, every time we get another person locked up and they walk to the back, we counting that money. We getting that check. So for you to come in there and free your whole block, I think that need to be highlighted. I like that.
Well, we want honesty, first of all. We want honesty.
Yes, sir.
I did it out of anger. I was mad because, see, you mentioned $1 million bond. They had put me first on $1 million bond. But like I said, they made my son power of attorney because got money from the death of my wife and my daughter. All right? And I bought a house in Monroe, big house, a big mini mansion in Monroe for my kids to get them out of New Haven, to get them to another school system and all this, right? So, but when my murder happened, I went to jail. I went to jail from a mini mansion to a cell. You understand? And I came in mad, you know, angry. And so my murder, I got out on bond. I got out on bond, $100,000 bond. And as the trial was going on, they wouldn't allow these doctors from, I told you I was up in New Hampshire, in this hospital in New Hampshire. They wouldn't allow these doctors to come in and say that I had a traumatic brain injury, you know, and so on, to speak in my behalf. So I fled, right? And so about 2 weeks later, I got arrested. I was going down to Atlanta. So anyway, I got arrested. And they put me in Whaley Avenue. But they put me on a $1 million bond, right?
Right.
And so when we was in court, my attorney was getting ready to post a bond for me to get out. The prosecutor told John, I need to put something on the record. And the judge said, what you need to put? I already gave this man a bond, blah, 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 all this. So he allowed him to speak. So the prosecutor says, if you give this man $1 million bond, he's going to make it. If you give him a $10 million bond, he's going to make it. So he explained how my family came into this money and all that. He put me on a no bond. They took the $1 million bond and put me on a no bond and put me in Whaley Avenue. Now I'm mad. I'm really upset.
You just knew you were getting out.
Oh, listen. I'll go flee again. So,
go clear that joint, be in the wind.
Listen, everybody in there, I said, I said, who want to go home?
Who want to go home?
I said, who want to go? They said, who's the crazy dude, right? I had 2 bondsmen that I was close with. You know what I'm saying? They made a lot of money off of me. So when the people in the block found out that 2 of them, he's serious. He bonded such and such out. Man, oh, okay. So my attorney came up. I'll never forget his name he was an Italian guy, a big heavy-set Italian guy. He said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "You know what you're doing?" He said, "He said you're making these people because just like you said, that's their money.
That's their
You
money.
understand?" He said to me, he said, "You know what you're doing?" He said, "You're making them mad." Blah blah blah. I said, "Now listen to him. Listen to him. I said, "You finished?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You been getting your money?" He said, "Yeah, I've been getting my money." I said, "But don't worry about what I do with mine." I told him, I said, "Ever who I send you to bond out, you bond them out. You make sure you bond." So I said to him, I said, "You want me to stop it? You want me to stop it?" I said, "Then get me a bond."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Get me out of here.
Get me a bond. You know what I'm saying? They would not. They put me in the hole. They put me in SAG. Because I was working on bonding out another block.
You about to go on tour with this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody go home.
Everybody. I never forget it was around Thanksgiving too.
Mm.
Yeah. I said, "Enjoy the turkey."
Enjoy the turkey.
I told all of them, I said, "Enjoy the turkey." Oh, they were mad, man. You seen them, they were mad. Everywhere I go, I was I had people who wasn't even in the block I was in coming and showing me their case and stuff.
The caseload. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They wanted me to bind them out from other blocks.
Because I know you said your older son that was, in charge of that situation.
Yeah.
He didn't know about law.
No.
So you always knew about law.
Yeah. I studied it in my other bids.
Mm.
Yeah, but they used him. He ain't know nothing about the street or law or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't his fault.
No.
But yeah. But yeah, that was something else, man. Even some of the officers used to laugh because my attorney said, "You're binding out murderers and this and that." All these different people, right? I said, he said, "They lock them up. He said, "They lock them up." So he used the word freedom.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "They lock them up and you free them." I said, "Yeah." I said, "What does that tell you?" He said, but yeah, it started. It started out of anger. That's how it started. I was mad because they wouldn't give me a bond, and I did all that, and some of them stayed out, and that's alhamdulillah.
Yeah, definitely.
But they still never gave me a bond.
But it's crazy because I heard this story, not from you, but I heard this story so many times from other brothers saying like, "Yo, I remember when I sat in county and I gave, like you said, I gave that man my case, or I told that man that, I wanted to go home, and they popped my door." What? And that's a dream, right? That's a dream to be sitting in county. Because I remember I sat in county for 2 years before I took my plea and went to state. And I remember being on high bond side, and I remember brothers just sitting. We sitting forever. We getting to know each other. People sitting there for 3 years. People sitting there for 5 years. People sitting there for 2 years like me. And we just dreaming. Just dreaming and hoping that one day we can either get our sentence or we can go home. What are your dreams and your goals with your poetry? Where is Mr. Shabazz trying to take this poetry? Because your life, your legacy, and everything you're doing right now, you worked a lot to be where you at right now. So now that you worked so much to be where you at right now, and your pen is still heavy, what are your dreams?
My dream is to have my 3 books published.
PPP.
Poems from a Prison Poet, to have the books published. That's what my dreams are. And I want to dedicate one of them to my wife and my daughter when I do get them published, when I finally get them published. But that's my dream.
Can we hear one more?
Of course.
We hear a couple more. I want to hear them all.
Well, I only have 5 with me. we got 3 more to go. All right, this one has to do with grace. It says Allah's open grace.
Okay.
His open grace. Allah's open grace for the whole human family.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in a struggle. We're like in a race. We're on a journey. I always say we're on a spiritual journey. We're going somewhere. For those of us that know that we're moving, we're headed somewhere. But we only get there by the grace of God and His mercy. So it says, Allah's open grace. As we race for the goal, our life do unfold. And it's all just a test to see who will give their very best. In this struggle we call life, which is really a race, to see who will keep up with Allah's open grace.
Trapaholics, we make it look easy.
19.
Date was the 12th month, the 21st day, 1999. Again, I was in Cheshire in the hole.
How much time you spend in the hole in
Oh,
1999?
I don't know, but it was a long time. It was
Cause you dropping heat in 1999.
yeah.
That's back to back 1999. You dropping that heat.
I mean, I was isolated, and I had I thank God for pen and paper. Because when I write, it releases something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's therapy.
Oh, yeah, yes. Good therapy.
It can be therapy for the people who can afford therapy. Because therapy is I feel like therapy is a good tool to use and have, but sometimes it can be costly. So by you writing and reflecting and, decoding your energy and your emotions to the point where not only are you getting out, you can read it back. That's therapy. You got therapy for free. And it's a situation where it's just you. So you can really be vulnerable. Can I hear one more?
Yeah.
Because I like what I'm hearing.
All right. This one has to do with prison.
Okay, let's.
All right. Because when we go to their house of incarceration, they have rules.
Yes.
And so it's structured. The first thing they do is they take our names.
Yep.
And they replace it with what? A number. Take your name. I give you a number. You understand?
And why they do that? Because this as much as I know about history, and this is much this is much I can recite certain things. So can this brother. So I like how you said that you have a name that your mother and your father gave you. You have an identity. And then you go into a system that has its own world, and they take that name and they replace it with a number. Why do they do that?
Well, to me, it's to humiliate you.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of slavery.
Oh. Ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Then you, my little brother, explain it.
Because you right in the that. I can't agree no more because, like I was saying earlier, nothing new over the sun. So we got caught. I got caught making sure y'all was free labor by being slavery, and Abraham Lincoln was forced to free y'all because the North and the Union was going through hell, and they couldn't compete with free labor. So the order for the North to still be able to eat and the Union to still be able to get money, we had to free these slaves. So Abraham Lincoln signed that bill, right? He gave a nice little speech about, I believe in freedom. No, you had them wolves on your neck, and they told you, fix what's going on down in the South because we ain't eating right now. So when he did that, what happened then? We had Jim Crow. When we had Jim Crow, we had black laws. So now I'm just remixing how I'm doing slavery. And then we had something else called the 13th Amendment. So the 13th Amendment basically saying that when you violate or you do something outside of the state that we find unlawful, you become property of the state. By you becoming property of the state, what did that mean? That mean that we own you. And by us owning you, we got to keep track of you. How can we keep track of you? I don't need to know your name. I don't care who you are. You're not my friend. You're going to be a number. Because all these numbers is how I calculate and how I keep hold of my private partner's getting money, I'm getting money, and how I need to bring more people in to get money. I have a paper trail. So then when I do that, you know what happens? When you die, and you know your family crying, your child's crying, whoever care about you crying, they have to pay me to get your body because I own you. You're not a person. You're not a family to the Johnsons. You're in my pocket. And until your family pay me to get out my pocket, you're going to be a property of the state, living or dying. So like you said, it's just another form of slavery, but I had to remix it because my hand got caught. And sometimes when people's hand get caught, they can do two things. They can accept what they did, and they can be vulnerable and learn and try to become a better person, or they can go back to the drawing board and say, how can I trick these niggas again? And you know what America did? How can I trick these niggas again? How can I bring these people that's black, that's poor, that who fail to understand information and keep them in this circle? So, you know, that poem is good because that's what I think about. You know, we can say we free, but are we?
Little brother, you explain that so eloquent.
Thank you.
And it fits right into this poem.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called A Number, Your Name. Living in this house of mirrors, and yet I still cannot see a clear reflection. There is always someone constantly peeping in on me. In this place of doors, but nowhere to pass through. Caged up like an animal in the world's finest zoo. As I search for the key to change this game from a number so cruel and back to my name.
From a number so cruel and back to my name. And that's the first time I'm hearing this.
But the way you set it up for us, that was beautiful.
I like that.
That was beautiful.
I like that.
The way you set it up for that was beautiful.
I like that because I feel like more brothers and sisters who fall victim to the prison system, like me and you both did, I feel like we finally understanding, you know, how dangerous it can be. You know, it's not so much about, to me, this is Ross speaking, it's not so much about morals, about that dollar. What makes sense? What makes sense? I can just sit back and have a plantation in modern time.
Always say, little brother, that's how they seen us. Huh? We're money in motion.
Money. Money in motion. I like that. I like that. Is it... Now you say you trying to publish 3 books. And you gave me the name of one of them.
That's all 3 of them.
Oh, that's all 3 of them.
All of them would be PPP, Poems from a Prison Poet.
So it'd be like a trilogy.
Book 1, book 2, book 3, yeah. Because it's like I said, it's over 1,000 of these, all short and to the point.
I like that. A trilogy, part 1, part 2, part 3. Is it anybody you seen who did that before, or that just something that you feel like this is how I want to, you know, do my work, make a trilogy?
No, I haven't seen anyone do it before. No.
Can I ask you a question about how you feel about social media? Is social media a way for you to get out your platform, or you rather do it through the books? Because with social media, right, we can have it online, we can have it in reels, we can have it in posts, or you rather just have it from paper to print?
See, I don't know anything about social media. All this is new to me. And all I want is my stuff out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the best way, the professional way, the easiest way. I just want my stuff out. I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot about social media and all this. Just what we doing right now. All this is new to me. I told you the story of when I was in the halfway house, and the phone. How I finally, my family brought this up.
Let me hear it.
So anyway, they put me in a halfway house up in Middletown.
Okay.
Now I don't know nobody from Middletown.
Uh-huh.
You know they got a institutional up in Middletown, a crazy house up in Middletown.
Yep, right up the street.
Right, very good. So I'm there and I'm hearing this tonight. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep at night. So, but anyway, so this was doing the covert thing, and when your family come up, they can only like bring you up water, fruits, stuff like that. So my sons.
So COVID, you mean like what, 2020?
Yes, 2020, exactly. That's when I got, 2020.
Mm.
So my sons bring me up stuff. And so the manager, the director of the halfway house, he came in. I'm sitting on my bed. He comes in. He says, "Your family was up, Shabazz." I'm like, "Yeah." He said they left some water and some fruit in the refrigerator for you. And he said they left this here for you too. And he threw it on my bed. Now I ain't never seen nothing like this before, right? I'm looking. I'm saying, "What is that?" He says, "A phone." Now a phone to me, I'm looking at. Well, where you put your ear up at? You know, I said, "Oh, that's right." So he starts laughing. Thank you, right? I've been now all these years. I ain't never seen nothing like this before.
30 years.
So it rung, right? So I'm looking. I'm like, "How do you even answer this thing?" So he says, "Listen." He says, "Oh, you got to swipe it. You got to swipe it." Now, swipe to me mean hit. You understand? You should have seen me smacking his phone up. Or smacking the phone, right? So he's laughing, right? He said, "Nah, give it to me." He's the one who showed me how to swipe it.
Domestic on the Wi-Fi.
Ain't this? So I said to myself, I said, "Man, when my sons come up, I got something for them." How you just come and a person been away all these years and you just drop something off like this? No instructions or nothing.
It's challenging. It
still is.
I mean, I didn't, blessings to your brother for making it out that, but I didn't do 30. I did some years, but I didn't do 30. And I remember coming home to social media and trying to catch up and trying to navigate. I thought the coolest thing in the world when I came home was like paying with stuff with your phone. But I didn't feel comfortable telling people that I didn't know how to pay with stuff on my phone.
And I still don't.
Like, I don't got to use cash. I ain't going to use my card. I can just tap my phone and it would work. And I remember sitting in lines in shoe stores. I remember sitting in lines. My people walked away. And I'm just panicking. I'm letting people skip me. I'm sweating. I'm so embarrassed because, I want to make it seem like I just didn't come home. That was my main thing because, everybody can hear it. I'm from the South, but I'm up here in the tri-state now. So, I wanted to blend in. I wanted to make sure, okay, this is a regular guy. So I'm buying shoes because I like to look nice. I like to take care of myself. I had a little money when I came home. So, I'm in Foot Locker. I'm trying to buy some shoes, but I only got money on Cash App and, people just send me money through, through the phone. So I pick the shoes I like. I get the size. I'm excited. I'm like, I'm going to kill him with this. I'm already getting my outfit ready. I'm about to step. Now I'm in the line. I'm looking around. I'm Googling, how do you pay? They showed me how to do it, but I still don't get it. So
Welcome to the club.
I'm reading articles. I'm letting everybody skip me. So now it's like the cash register person, they looking at me. They like, what's going on with bruh? So he was like, you need help? I'm like, yeah, I do need help. Then, I came up to the line. He showed me how to do it, and it got through. But just like you said, that phone, because this is a computer.
Yeah, somebody told me this.
This is a walk-in computer in your pocket. But if you've been going for 30 years, 7 years, even 3 years, you missed a lot as far as technology. How do you cope with that though? Because, you know, I can only imagine, like, I still be confused right now. And I used to be like the tech weird, just like you said, you went to school for computers.
Yeah.
You went to school for computers, and now when you see a computer, you just lost.
Yeah, I told you. I said I went to school for computers. I was real good in mathematics, accounting, debits, credits, balancing, all that. And if you gave me a computer, I wouldn't know how to plug it up. They're like, oh, you don't plug no computers anymore, Shabazz. And that's how I found out that this was a doctor told me. He said, what you have in your hand is a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? He said, yeah. He said, that what you have in your hand, your phone, he says, is a computer.
From the Androids to the iPhone to the Galaxy, whatever phone you got, that is a computer. Mm-hmm. That's free Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi I got paid for in my house, my apartment. I ain't got it. Well, with the bill, but it comes with a lot. You know, this comes with a lot. Do you find yourself a point of time where you'll go back to school, or you just feel like, you know, you're just gonna stick to the mission you on now?
Well, for right now, the way my mind is, I got to do one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I love order. I always loved order, even before my accident. But the way my mind is, I gotta do one thing at a time. So I'm just concentrating right now on my poem, having my poems published. You understand? Because I invented things too. I got some inventions.
Okay.
Yeah, but one thing my mind is like one thing at a time. So, cause like, see, I never want to get like overwhelmed.
True.
You know, I can't get overwhelmed. I don't like to get overwhelmed.
Before we go, my good brother, can I hear one more poem?
Of course you can. Of course.
Thank you, sir.
This falls into what we're talking about. As far as this one's called "I Build a Wall." To build a wall, you understand, where you separate yourself from other human beings.
True indeed.
You understand? There are things that are going on in my life that was things that was going on in my life that I put up a wall to block out because I didn't want no one else in, you know. So that's what this poem is about. And it says, I build a wall. I build a wall so that I cannot see all the world's confused faces peeping in at me. I build a wall. I build a wall to hide from time, from all the sad faces of children and their senseless crimes. I build a wall. I build a wall in hopes to escape from my fears and the endless oppression of so many dark years. I build a wall. Yes, I build a wall, and sometimes a well, hoping it would keep me safe down here in this earthly hell. That boy good.
Oh, it's good.
I got my stats. I didn't forget about my stats.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother, for believing in yourself, for always executing in your gifts, and being a helping hand to develop and you know, assist young brothers like myself making their life. Before we go, though, is there anything that you would like to say to Pilot Language, audience, and the community?
Yes. Continue to struggle, and know that as you continue to struggle, it gets easier, not harder.
We building character. Thank you for everybody tapping in. Thank you for everybody listening. We here with another one. This is Pilot Language. My name is Ra. Peace.